I'm Denise Ortiz of MindBodyHealing.biz. Thanks for joining us on our monthly podcast. Now, the podcasts drop on the 15th of every month on YouTube, and you can find all of the information at the end of this video. We have monthly and some extras from time to time. And we're here to bring speakers and resources to just help you along the way through these times that we're living in, which are definitely challenging. So, today, I wanted to bring in someone to talk about the animals, okay? We're going through a lot of changes and shifts, and a lot of things are happening with us, and it's also happening with the animals too. But how do we communicate with our animals? Well, I'm bringing on Gerri Karabin today. She is an animal communicator and psychic medium, and she's going to talk to us about what animals are trying to tell us, okay? Now, there's lots of reasons that people would like to communicate better with their animals, to hear what they're thinking, what they're feeling. Pet owners sometimes wonder about their behaviors or their health that they're trying to get across to the owners, and they don't know how to interpret that or how to get that information. Even finding closure with a pet that has passed, and just connecting with their pets just to feel closer, have a better understanding. Now, Gerri has worked with dogs, for example, that have severe separation anxiety, picky eating cats, fighting cats, animals who fear during thunderstorms. How many times have you seen the dog run in the back of the closet in the bedroom, hiding from that type of thing? There's lots of different things that she can help you with, and she does phone and Zoom sessions available, and you'll find all of her information at the end of the video. So right now, I'd like to bring on Gerri, so you can tell us a little bit about animal communication.
Hey, everybody. Denise, thank you so much for having me on. I love talking about what I do, and I'm actually really honored to be able to do it. And I'll kind of start at the beginning of how I got to this point. I studied shamanism with the Four Winds Society, and I studied that for about 3 years. And we would go up to like the Omega Institute or out to Joshua Tree in California and have week-long classes. And I remember one time we were at the Omega Institute, that's up in Rhinebeck, New York, and we'd have to pair off and like go out into the woods and do exercises and stuff like that. And I was there with a partner once, and at one point she said, "You got a big animal thing going on. What's going on with that?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" And she said, "There's always animals around you. There's always, bees and birds and da da da." And it's like, and she said, "Are you an animal communicator?" And I was like, "I don't even know what an animal communicator is. What is that?" And she said, "Well, can you try and connect with my dog?" And I just said, "I don't know, let me see." And I just kind of closed my eyes and I tried to just get very clear and I kind of said, "Hey, what do you want to tell me?" And the dog gave me like a piece of information that I gave to her, and she goes, "Yep, you're an animal communicator." And I'm like, "I should look into this," kind of thing. So after I finished my shamanic studies, that's when I did actually look at animal communication. I read a whole bunch of books, and I studied with a big animal communicator here in this country, and then just started doing it. There's this quote that I say or whatever. It's on my website. It's one of those things that when you find that you can do this type of work, you kind of can't not. And you know this yourself, Denise. You can't walk away from this kind of thing. And now I love it so much because I really am able to feel that I am being of service to both the human and the animal. Because it's like you said, a lot of the times people, "What's wrong with my dog? Help me fix my dog." When in fact, the dog is exhibiting a certain behavior to bring your attention to something so you can maybe heal or move forward or grow. It's really pretty interesting.
Yeah, I know with you actually did a reading for my daughter-in-law, and she had told me that her cat was trying to tell her something, and she ended up getting sick, had a minor operation, and the cat just laid next to her. Now, this was a cat that was hiding in the closet most of the time,
Hmm.
and the cat decided to lay next to her during her entire recovery. So they're more in tune with what's going on with us than we even realize.
They really are. This is no offense to any human out there, but in my mind, our animal beings are so much better than we are. And I'm not judging humans or anything. I'm just saying it's pure love. It's pure unconditional love. They live in the absolute moment. The things that this is something that always happens too, that the things that we assume are going to bother them don't bother them. I remember I was up in Connecticut once and I was doing a live kind of gallery type reading and I was tag teaming with another animal communicator. And she said, okay, pick somebody. And I'm just intuitively drawn to, okay, this woman that was in front and she wants us to read her dog. And we were both reading the dog. And I do what's called a body scan. So it's not a diagnostic tool or anything, but I tell the dog to kind of like the fruit roll-ups.
Yeah.
I kind of lay your body on my body, sort of. Do you know what I mean? Like rolling. So show me on my body what's happening on your body. And the dog's giving me nothing. I feel a little in my stomach, but nothing big, nothing big. And and my colleague was getting the same thing. But the woman's going, no, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. The dog has cancer. And I'm like, just because the dog has cancer, and this is what I've learned, we're assuming you're in pain, you're having to, whatever. Dog's like, no, it's not bothering me at all. They don't have the same attachment to things that we do, which is why I think that like the cat, was it your daughter-in-law?
Yeah.
Yeah. The cat,
Yes.
um, it doesn't have the same attachment. So is just kind of pure love and pure energy, pure positive energy to share with you.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. We always take things like you said from our perspective. They're
absolutely.
living in a whole different world
Whole different
with
world.
different
And I
things.
had a reading yesterday and it was the same thing. Like, oh, the vet said that this and I got to do this and I got to do this and I'm like, yeah, no, he's saying no, he's fine, it's not bothering him. And there was another one that had ear loss and she's like, I think and I said, yep, and I said it's his left ear. And she's like, what do I do, what do I do? And the dog's like, nothing, I'm fine. Like they adapt. It's like when you see an animal
Yes.
that has lost a limb. It takes that amount of time for them to figure, okay, I don't have one, I got three now. Okay. They just
Yeah.
adapt. And it's just
Yeah.
it's actually beautiful to watch. It's beautiful to
Yeah,
watch,
there's
beautiful to hear, and it's very affirming, to like I really am into the law of attraction and I follow Abraham Hicks and one of the things that they always say is be easy about this. Be easy about this because as humans we tend to just wrestle stuff to the ground. You know what I mean? Like there's a problem, wrestle it to the ground. That's when you go hug on your dog. That's when you go kiss your cat.
yeah.
Because the cat's like, no, it's not that really big deal. It'll blow over. Let's just chill for a while.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, usually when we're most excitable, that when they're
Yeah.
nervous about something or something's
Hmm.
going on, they see us pacing, they'll just jump up, and especially with the cat, will just get next to you and purr
Yeah.
and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
relax you and
Yeah.
teach you. They're teaching you, like you
They're
said, this is
teaching you,
what
like, have you ever, and I'm sure we all, have you ever had, especially with dogs or, yeah, cats, same thing. Gosh, horses, I've seen it happen with, where you're having a really emotional day or you're crying or crying. I've been at where I'm like, in a fetal position crying, and the next thing you know, there's a head, right on my shoulder, a nose right in my face, somebody, it's okay, mommy. It's okay, mommy.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're amazing beings. They really are.
Yeah. Yeah, they are. And like with the horses, I unfortunately don't get to have horses, but I watch them on TV.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I've been watching Heartland, where she's the horse whisperer living on the
Oh, yeah,
farm
yeah,
in
yeah.
Canada. And I see the same type of thing, the communication that she has with the horse, how she can tell what they're going through, and they can let you know. And this is what we're missing sometimes with their animals.
Yeah,
But
and there
yeah.
is a thing called equine alchemy. And actually, I have a close friend of mine that I did study with for a time, and she has a farm out in Washington State,
Mhm.
and she's got three horses, and she is trying to leave her corporate job and become work with the horses and do the alchemy because they really are incredibly intelligent and energetic beings, horses are, and can really do a lot of healing. A lot of healing. It's really
Mhm.
fascinating.
Yeah, I know it isn't there a place over around Southport area too where they do that and bring kids to
Yep.
ride the horses and
Yes.
just the
Yeah.
yeah, the connection, the energy
Yeah.
they emit is
Yeah.
like fabulous. I
It's
mean,
fabulous. It's incredible. It's incredible.
great work. So also when now what about when the pets that pass and people come to you for readings with how does that work for them?
So the thing with me is that it does, people always say like, well, how do you connect with an animal? Well, it's an energetic connection. So that's when people sometimes are like, I find it funny because sometimes people are like, wait, you can connect with an animal that's passed? And I'm like, well, I'm connecting with your animal. You live in Ohio and I'm sitting here and, whatever. So yeah, because it's an energetic connection. And to
Right.
be honest, um, for me, the connection with the animal that has passed has always been stronger. It's always been really stronger because they're very much aware that their human is grieving and they really want to give you everything that they can to really make because of course, there's got to be doubt. Like, did
Right.
that really come? Is she really talking to my animal? But when the animal is passed, they really go above and beyond to give me something to say so that the human is like, oh my gosh, that's Spot or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
Right. That's me. Nobody else would know that because only
Nobody
my
else
cat or
would
dog was
know
there.
that.
So yeah, that makes
Yeah. I once had an animal, this was several years ago, but the animal had passed way before. And this was a woman and her husband now had two children and lived in a different house. But the animal was showing me the layout of the house and how at night he went with daddy walking down the hall. You know how the dad at night looks in on the kids and, like does that. So he was showing that. And the animal wasn't even when they were married, he didn't even know them. Do you see what I'm saying? I'm not making myself clear, but the animal had never met the children, had never been in
right,
the
right.
house, but was showing me this tile floor. Because what I do is
Wow.
I'm just like in shamanism, they call it the hollow bone. And whenever I do a reading, I always do a prayer first. And
Mm,
it's something like, allow me to be as clear and accurate a channel as possible. And when I say channel, I don't mean I'm channeling, because I'm not really channeling these guys, but I'm just being as open as humanly possible. And I
mhm.
ask that I release any attachment to ego, outcome, or acceptance. So my goal is just to whatever comes in comes out. Whatever comes in comes out. So I
Right.
may be like, I'm seeing a hall and I've got white tile and I've got these big baseboards down the hall. And I'm seeing this, so like because it's not about me convincing somebody, it's about me, they're giving me data, I'm giving it to you.
Right.
So there's the trick is, and it's not so much a trick because it takes practice, and I've been practicing for so long, is to not interpret.
Mhm.
Try not to interpret, like to just give me. Now are times when I can be like, okay, when I've seen that in the past, it has meant this. Does that make sense? The way I'm trying
Right.
to,
With different
yeah.
symbols or different ways that
Yeah,
they're
I'll
trying to
get
tell you
different
about it.
symbols for things and stuff like that. The other really interesting thing, and interrupt me if you have a question because I'm just going now.
Oh
Um,
no, please go. Please just
the
keep on
other,
going.
yeah, the other thing is that I'll often get people say, "Oh, um, we know it was tragic. Like maybe the animal gets hit by a car or something like that. We know it was tragic. Can you please ask him exactly what happened?" And I always have to warn, 9 times out of 10, they won't tell me because, and here's why they won't tell me. We said this before, they live in the present, okay? And they love us unconditionally. So from where they are, they're like, it's a blip, it's over, I'm here, I'm fine. And I don't want that person to have to live through that thought of that pain and tell that story in their head of what happened to me. So a
Hmm.
lot of times they'll like, nope, and it's funny. It happens all the time. And I say, yeah, I get that question all the time. I'm going to ask,
Wow.
but I'm probably not going to get the answer.
Wow, they're
Yeah.
protecting their owners.
They're protecting you even from the other side.
Wow.
Yeah. It's amazing. It's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, because we forget that they, we know that we have, critical thinking available to us, and we don't believe that or don't think about that with animals. Like, oh, they're just
Yes.
running along. It's like, no, they are. And if you stop and observe even just what they do in a day, they know when to get up, and you're not setting an alarm clock for them. They know when
Yeah.
morning is, they know where their breakfast is, they know where their food is kept. I mean, these are all, they understand your habits and patterns, and I
Yeah,
think,
and it's so interesting because I studied under a medium. I did a he was mentoring me for a while, and we had classes, and I can't remember where we were, Massachusetts or something like that. I'm not sure. And we were having lunch, and it was like the group. So it wasn't my mentor; it was the group, and there was like four of us sitting at the table. So here we are studying mediumship. And we were just getting to know each other. And one of the guys said, and somebody said, "Oh, are you an animal communicator?" I am, blah, blah, whatever. And one of the guys there that was studying mediumship said, "That means that you actually believe that animals have a soul." And I was like, well, of course they do. But I found it so funny. Here we are studying mediumship. And it was like there was such a hard line with him, like, no, only humans, not
wow,
other living creatures. And I found that fascinating because I do believe
wow,
they have a soul. And when you work with them like I do, you love them more than you thought you possibly could because you respect them like every being should be respected. Do you see what I'm saying?
hmm,
Like it's like it's not just your pet. Like I don't even refer to my animals as my pet. You
uh-huh.
know what I mean? Because it's almost condescending to them. You know what I mean? Like I don't own them. I mean, I know I do, but you know what I'm saying. I
Yeah,
don't own them.
they're living with you.
They're living
They're
with
not
me.
just
They're
for you to
sharing
walk around
their,
like a
yeah,
little doll,
yeah.
This is
They're
it's
sharing their awesomeness with me, for lack
yeah.
of a better term.
Yeah. And I mean, and and we've all seen it too. I mean, if there's a fire in the house, if there's a danger to a baby, if
Yeah,
you're walking by, almost getting hit by a car, that dog is going to jump right in front and put their
absolutely.
life on the line for you.
Yep. Yep.
You've got to have some type of a soul. That's not just
Yeah.
thinking. That is a soul. That's emotions that are, this is
Yeah. I
the
mean,
way that
think
we live.
about animals that do like, service animals. You could think about the
Yes.
animals that alert you when you're about to have a seizure or something like that. And they get you to lie down and they go get a towel or get your medicine or something like that. How can that
Mhm.
being not be more than just a four-legged thing?
Yeah.
It's insane. It's insane. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean,
I,
even the birds, like the birds and the squirrels, I mean, these are
mhm.
also animals that are trying to communicate with us as well that
Yeah.
we don't think of. And since I've, moved here to North Carolina and I've got a backyard with beautiful woods behind me, I've gotten in touch with more of the birds that are out there, the
Yes.
occasional deer that will come through, the squirrels, even the snakes, which people go,
Yeah.
ooh. But
Yeah.
I've come to watch how they act too and how they react and how they're more scared of us most of the time and we just freak out and want to kill them. But when I tell my neighbors don't because that snake is helping you. It's getting rid of all
Yeah.
the mice and all the little animals and all the little things you don't want around. Once they
Yeah.
start realizing that we're all, as they talked about in Indian culture, it's a web. It's a web.
Yes.
And we're all connected and
Absolutely.
the animals are in there with us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's a beautiful thing. And it is, I like what you said, because people don't think about it that way. But if you do like go outside and sit on your deck and kind of commune, and I'm not saying, you have to do what I do, but just listen to them, watch them, and you can even sit there and you can just look at that squirrel who's just sitting there going like this, looking at you. What are you telling me? What's your story? Show me, teach me what I'm supposed to know. And you might get a hit. It's
Mhm.
it's spectacular. Around here, for me, it's the geckos. We got the little geckos all over the
Oh,
place. They're all over the place.
yes.
And I'm always like, I'm not going to bother you. Don't bother, I protect them.
Yeah.
I'm like, if there's a gecko, I'm like, come here to my dog and hold his collar and go on, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. You know what I mean? We get flies around here, right? We get flies in the house or whatever. I will always give a fly the opportunity. I'll open that kitchen door and say, go, 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 go,
Yes.
go, go, go. Do you know what I mean? Yeah,
Yep.
they're bothersome, but go, go, go. It's just
Yeah.
you really you fall in love more with all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like we've learned, know a lot of people with the bird feed and then the squirrels climbing up and getting it. So
Yep,
I just throw the squirrels' food out towards the woods so they've got something more to eat. But they're still going to come up and get it from time to
of
time.
course. Yeah.
But after a while, we had a running joke with my husband. He said, I'm going to get them. And he would open the door. They could hear the sound of the click of the door. And the squirrels would be on high alert, like, uh-oh, here he comes. And he would run out to the backyard going, come on. And he'd do it like
Yeah.
lovingly and jokingly. All
Yeah, of
right, you
course.
guys get out of here. What did I tell you? And they would run into the tree where they would hide. And it was a coniferous tree. So he could just like open them up one day. He goes, I found you. And they all scattered into different places.
That's
And he
great.
was laughing. And then they all came back and they were like, oh, he's having fun with us. So now that was their
Absolutely.
game. It became a game.
Absolutely. We have a fenced in yard and the squirrels, we have a ton of squirrels because we have like a big wooded area, a ton of squirrels. And I have two dogs and they're like very like fast and active dogs, so to speak. And the squirrels play with them because they will run all the way around the top of the fence line. And the dogs just wail after them. And they never get them. And the squirrels will stop and look at him and then they'll go the other way. And I know they're playing. They're playing. The squirrels are not running from fear of them. They're playing. It's great.
Yeah,
It's great to watch. It really is great to watch.
exactly. Exactly. So, if people, can't get to you right away, or even after they're done, doing a reading with you, what other advice could you give to people that, to pay attention to, on average, the dogs and cats that are in their home every day? How could they know that the animal's trying to tell you something or, things like
The
that?
best thing that I have is like just practice, practice, practice. But the first thing you have to do is you have to get yourself incredibly clear. So that's why, like before, I have a little tiny ritual, 3-minute ritual that I do. I will burn some sage to kind of clear me. I will say a prayer. I will ask God, Spirit, Universe. I always say God, Spirit, Universe because some people call it God. So I always say God, Spirit, Universe. It's all one thing to me. So I will ask God, Spirit, Universe, like I said, help me be as clear and accurate a channel as I can get. It's managing your energy. So it's all about you have to release everything else that's going on. Forget that the laundry is in there and it has to be moved from the washer to the dryer. Forget this. You just have to get as clear and quiet as possible. Find that Zen space. So it's almost like a meditative space that you get into. And here's the other thing that's huge. That was the big thing. This is the second big thing. I would teach animal communication to some people and I'd see them I'm like, okay, so everybody pick this animal and try to connect. Like I give them the name of my dog or something, a name and whatever of my dog. And I say, try to connect. And they'd be like, like all squished up face like this. And I go, oh, what's happening over there? And they're like, I'm trying, I'm trying, I'm trying. I'm like, stop that. Because trying is the worst thing. Allowing is the best thing. So in other words, you get yourself clear. You're sitting outside on the deck. Your dog is looking at you. Take a deep breath, inhale, exhale, get yourself clear and just say, show me, teach me what you want. And then just allow whatever to come in, come in. And you might be surprised. Like the first time it happened, you might be like, oh my God, I just heard, or I just felt, or I just saw. And that's the thing. We all receive information differently. I will get images in my head. This is always an interesting thing. I don't hear anything, but I see words because I'm a writer.
Ah,
I'm a writer. I went to college for writing. So it's logical that anybody who's trying to give me information, they give it to you in the easiest way for you to get it. So it makes sense that I will see a word. I'll even see it bold or low or uppercase or lowercase,
wow.
which will give me the, range of this emotion or something. So that's the other thing. Be aware of it can come in all different ways. Again, an image, a sound, a feeling, just a knowing, a physical sensation in your body, the feeling of an emotion. But the
Mm.
allowing, getting yourself clear and
Allowing. Yeah, because like I said,
allowing.
trying anything too hard is not good for us, but we're like,
Yeah, it's
I'm gonna make it
resolute
happen.
to
I'm
the
gonna make it
ground.
happen. And it's
Yeah,
just You're
It's
not
wrestling
open.
it to the ground and it's imposing our control over it as
Mm,
opposed to, and isn't that logical? Because here is my dog looking at me, obviously trying to tell me something. I want to know what it is. So it's just like I'm asking you, Denise, how are you feeling right now? I'm not going to try to force you to feel a certain way. You know
right.
what I mean? I want you to tell me. Do you
Yeah,
know what I'm
just
saying?
allow,
So
let it come
allow it.
in.
And I'm
Let it come.
I'm allowing that dog to tell me what's going on. And you might be surprised.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
it's one thing that unfortunately happens when we're younger to all of us is we don't trust our instincts.
absolutely. Absolutely. And I believe, because people always say, oh my God, you've got this gift. I don't know if I call it a gift, the actual ability to do it. Maybe the gift um, was the ability to cultivate it, to exercise it. Because I believe, just
Mm,
like you, we're all born intuitive and we know. It's like the little kid that never knew grandma and said, Mommy, there's grandma.
yeah,
And mommy's going, No, honey, grandma's dead. Like
yeah.
we all grow up that way, but then, society kind of beats it out of you. I mean, what? We would have been burned at the stake for having this discussion.
Oh, that's
You
absolutely
know what I
true.
mean? Like so I think everyone has it. It's just like a muscle that you got to exercise.
Yeah,
You got to exercise. So I think everybody can do it. It's just you just got to practice, practice, practice and exercise the muscle.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That is so true. That's so true.
Mhm.
Well, just wrapping this up, I just want to thank you so much. Is there anything else that you'd like to leave with everyone before we sign off here?
I want to tell you one quick story because it was the funniest animal communication I've ever had.
Oh, okay, good.
So I was reading a hamster and
A hamster.
a hamster,
Oh
and
my gosh.
his daddy asked him, he had passed, and his daddy asked what was his favorite thing to do. I'm like, okay. So I connect and I'm thinking, I'm starting to panic because I'm thinking this can't be right. Like I'm getting this, or this can't be wrong. I see an image of I'm dating myself here. Do you remember Saturday Night Live, Toonces the
Yep,
driving cat? Okay. There was a skit called Toonces the driving cat, and it was a cat that would drive a car.
yep.
This hamster is showing me Toonces the driving cat. And I'm like, I've got to be wrong about this because what is this? And I
Oh my
said,
gosh.
I don't know. Because I get things wrong sometimes. I said to him, I really don't know. I I may be wrong about this because this makes no sense to me whatsoever, but I'm seeing Toonces as the driving cat. He started to cry and laugh at the same time. He took that hamster with him driving around. And the
Oh my
hamster would
gosh.
sit like on that little, how where the horn is, like there would
Yeah.
his paws on the thing. I'm like, are
Oh,
you
for
kidding
Pete's
me?
sake. Oh my
It
gosh.
was hilarious. Because first of all, who the heck takes their hamster driving around with them? But this gentleman did, and that was what the hamster showed me. But again, that's the other thing that you have to learn if you do this. That's why I say ego, outcome, or acceptance. Like release any attachment to ego, outcome, or acceptance. I don't want to have my ego in there because I don't want to be like, ha ha ha, I was right. I'm good at this. That's bad. Outcome, meaning people want it to be a good outcome, and sometimes it's not going to be a good outcome. Sometimes their animal is ready to pass or transition or something. And acceptance, I just have to say what I get. And I've been in positions before with that where somebody will say, no, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. And, by the end of the reading or 5 days later, I get an email that says, oh, I totally figured out what you were saying. Yep, totally makes sense. So if I would have not said that because
Yeah.
that can't be right, it
He,
would have
he
been
would have missed
so
it.
less
He
powerful of a
would have
thing.
missed that
He would
information.
have missed that piece of information that made him laugh and cry
Wow.
at the same time. So
Wow.
it's super cool, but it also shows you how hilarious these animals can be.
Oh my
And
God.
what we said before, how giving you that piece of information that cannot be denied.
Hmm.
You know what I
Yes.
mean? Like a
Yes.
hamster
Yeah.
driving, yeah. So pretty cool. Pretty cool. So everybody commune with your animals, treat them with love and respect, and because they love you so much and they really are the most amazing companions.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Well, Jerry, I want to thank you so much for being with us here today. And I hope everybody watching got some great information about how to communicate with your animals. And if you're like me, I don't have any animals. I live vicariously through other people, which means when I go to this neighbor's house and they say, "Oh, the dog's going to be a pain," I'm like, "No, please, come on."
Please
I'll
bring the
wear the
dog.
clothes specifically so the golden hair can get all over me because I
Yeah.
just want to give him a massage and love him. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, so everybody just remember to communicate with your animals, like she said. And I want to thank Jerry, and you'll have her information at the end of this video where you can contact her for readings via phone or Skype. And just remember to take care of the animals just like they want to take care of you. So I'm Denise
Thank you so much.
Ortiz, Mind Body Healing. Thanks again, Jerry. It was great. And you can check out my website, which is www.mindbodyhealing.biz for all the information on myself, future podcasts, and on Jerry, so you can get in touch with her. Thanks so much. Have a great day.